And hello and welcome to the channel, to another I just talk into the camera and I call it a rant thing. My name is Henning Pauli. Welcome. Sunday, I guess it is. Quick thing before we get to me ranting about UA and their amps and plugins and whatever is coming. I have hunches, let's put it that way. I got some comments saying, stop it with the rants, your channel has gone down, you're just doing these rants. No, I'm not. And I would like for some people maybe seeing this and bitching about it, but then still clicking on them to explain how this works. It's not me, it's YouTube. See, these rants, because sometimes they hit a nerve in the industry or AI or whatever, they do better than other videos. So YouTube says, oh, more people watch this video, so therefore we show it to more people. And that means the people that don't watch the channel religiously and regularly, which I can totally understand, because if you're not interested in the gear that I'm reviewing, why would you watch a video? I totally get it. And the rant might be more interesting to you. But YouTube will push that video to people who don't always check in the channel. And then they think all I do is rants. And under these comments I write, well, check the channel. I do 4 to 5 actual full reviews a week. Okay, I have 1 or 2 days a week where I don't do a video. That's it. I work my ass off here. I do full reviews just like I've done for over 10 years now. And on Sunday, a rant. The fact that you're only shown the rant simply means you're not watching enough of the other stuff, which is fine. I wouldn't either. So that's why I only do rants. I don't. That's a Sunday thing. And the reason I do them is you guys watch them. And also sometimes there's something that's on my mind that I want to talk about. Sometimes I have insight into the industry because I'm deep in it and I'm talking to many people and I have many friends in the industry that it makes sense to just, share things or guess things. Today we're talking some guessing, but also some background. Universal Audio. Now, when they just released the Paradise Guitar Studio, which I think is, when it comes to classic sounds, not modern sounds, the best modeling sounds I've ever heard, because they're so dirty and stinky and grimy and icky and hummy and all the stuff you want from actual gear, that I find it indistinguishable to my very high-end nice gear. I think it's the best in the industry. And people said, oh, same thing, didn't like the pedals, they're just milking it now. Let's talk about that. They're just milking it. Are they or are they not? Now, Universal Audio, we could talk about many things. We can talk about, their tech support and their audio interfaces and their sometimes the pricing. Audio interface price goes up, it goes down, it's fluctuating. I've been working with the UAD platform since 2001, I think. So for a long ass time, I've been working with the powered plugins, which they're now slowly, which they're now slowly porting bit by bit into a native platform where you can buy the plugins individually, and you'd be a total dumbass to do that. I'm sorry, because the Spark subscription, where you get all of their plugins, right now is still $79. Christmas deal or New Year's deal, or it's $79 for the year. Whereas a single plugin will run you more than that. And that includes Paradise Guitar Studio, the compressors, the EQs, the rooms, the amazing Ocean Way Studio, Sound City Studios. It's a no-brainer to do the subscription. And full disclosure, if you want to do it, use my link below, go and do it. I actually get a percentage of that. And I'm not saying this is good shit because I do get a percentage. 95% of the plugins I use to do any kind of music, everything you hear in my tracks, everything you hear is Universal Audio, and is now actually the native Spark versions. Even though I have all the UAD stuff, I use the Spark wherever possible. I've got a good computer, it can run it. So we can talk about many things about UA, but we'll talk about their guitar products, which interestingly, they don't really market correctly to the guitar community. They don't show up at guitar shows. They haven't done NAMM in a while. They're not doing Guitar Summit. They have never been to Gear Street, my YouTube event, my 42 Gear Street event, which I think they should become to. But no, they kind of try to stay away from the guitar community, which is weird because they're smack in it. They have a lot of pedals now. Of course, amazing delays and reverbs. That's how it started, and modulation. And then they came out with the amp models. And yes, they made mistakes. Just like with the aux, which is for me still the go-to. I'm looking at one right now. Load box, not as a load box, but as a speaker simulator. Yeah, I know it doesn't do IRs. I don't give a flying rat's ass. It sounds good. And whenever I play with something else for a month or two, I come back to the aux. I'm like, I'm home. That's just a fact. But they messed up with that too. No MIDI, no XLR out, no rack mountability. They were dumbasses. And just with the, same thing with the pedals. No headphone out, can't be powered with USB-C, even though it has USB-C. Bluetooth doesn't do Bluetooth audio, stupid. The Bluetooth wasn't stable, stupid. They made mistakes, right? But then they had a platform. It was built on the platform of the delay and the reverb. Maybe they never thought about, think about this, maybe they never thought about amp modelers to begin with. They wanted to make a delay. Now, did that delay need a headphone out? No, it didn't. Did it need MIDI? Yeah, fuck, it did. So it was built on that platform. Now, anyone else could say, you know what? Fucking modify the platform to make it a better product. No, they're sticking with the platform. They have the shape, they have the board, and everything was developed. And now, Big Boss Man says, make the most out of that R&D that we put in. That's how that works. They don't design every pedal from the ground up. They're saying, we have the chassis, we've got the ins and outs, we've got the blue. This is all developed. Now, what other numbers can we put in there? What other software can this run? Can it run an amp software? Look, all we got to do is modify the switches and change the labels on the knobs. But essentially, we have the same computer. They designed one computer and then just changed the software. And it's a company. And that's usually where problems start. Companies. Let's make the most money out of our investment. And on the one hand, you guys work for companies, you get it. You should be getting it. They're paying your salaries. So on the one hand, we can be mad at the company and the capitalism behind it, that they didn't take a break, modify the platform, add the features that we wanted, MIDI, headphone out, powered by USB, for example, and then go from there, but just continued, even though they got a lot of hate for these features missing. But they did get glowing reviews about the sounds, because UA knows sound. They know what a classic amp's supposed to sound like. And these things are, I think, among the best there are. It started, of course, with the Ruby and the Dream, and what was the other one? The Woodrow. Very classic amps. And then they added the Lion, they added the Enigmatic, which is a Dumble. We've got the Anti, which is a EVH 5501 something. And then Rectifier. Now, of course, all on the same platform, but all of them, sound-wise, completely convinced. Feature-wise, same old shit. Now, with the version 2 on them, they added a lot of functionality through USB, and now you have MIDI. Now you can do presets. Now you can do MIDI expression control. There's a lot of cool new stuff, free, added to it, within the confines of the platform. Okay, so many people said, why don't you just make a big modeler? Makes total sense. They saw people love this shit. People say our models are among the best they are. They don't want to buy one pedal to buy one amp. They want everything in one. Yep. But again, company, America, capitalism, let's make the most out of what we invested in. We put R&D in the platform. Let's milk the platform. Can we fault them for that? Because if there was a big modeler, would the pedals still sell? Don't know. I mean, really the thing we have to be mad about here is capitalism itself. Make the most out of your investment. And they invested a lot of money and man hours into developing this platform. So of course they wanted to milk the platform. You are mad about that. I want to be mad about that too, but I also understand it. Also, from my point of view, the more pedals they release, the more videos about pedals I make, and the more times I can write them an invoice. Instead of one big modeler and then poof, no more jobs. So I'm kind of happy about that. But are they fooling you? I don't think so. It's just, I think they're very careful and they want to test the waters. They want to see, how do people react to the Dumble? And let's put it this way. Developing that Dumble pedal, that enigmatic, meant we solely focus on that. We get our hands on some and we do component modeling of the best fucking quality we possibly can on that Dumble. If it's one big ass product, let's say like a Helix Stadium or Neural Quad Cortex, whatever, your attention is divided. Oh, we got to get that amp in and that amp in. We need these pedals. We need this. We need MIDI functionality. We need and your team is split instead of massively focused on making one thing sound as good as it possibly can, the Dumble. They did this with the Lion, which is a Plexi, and I think it is the best Plexi pedal or the best Plexi model on the market. I don't think the other modelers hold a candle to it. I have them all. Up to the biggest, most expensive ones, I have real Plexis. I'm looking at a Friedman Arredondo again, sitting right there. The Lion is the real shit. Because I think they had that focus. So if they had done an all-inclusive modeler, I don't think they would have had that focus. So you could be happy that they are doing these individual pedals. Well, then they said, people love our sounds. What if there are people who don't want pedals? What if there are people in a production environment? Well, we have the code now. Why don't we tap into that market and sell them much cheaper than a pedal? Pedal is $3.99, let's say. Much cheaper, a software version, which is exactly the same thing because we have the code. Doesn't cost us really anything except developing a nice user interface. So why not do that? Now, they did that. And then people said, now they want the money from us again. We already bought the pedals. Boo, 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 Universal Audio. I hate you guys. But what if they were trying to address a different target audience that doesn't buy pedals, like producers, keyboarders, whatever, mix engineers. And again, maximize the investment. We invested the money in the code, so let's sell to people that don't buy pedals. Were they targeting the people who already had the pedal? I don't think so. And actually, as far as I know, they offered discounts to people who already bought the pedal and registered the pedal. Okay. And then they did 3-4 of the amp pedals as software. Pretty expensive. But then they offered a bundle and you could get all of them for $99 or something like this. And all of a sudden, you know what? It's pretty fair offer. Don't have to use my pedal board, but you know what? Maybe I don't actually have the pedals. Maybe I am not a guitar player. Maybe I'm a producer. Maybe I work in a studio and I'm not a pedal board guy. So can we be mad at them for that? Because some of you have been very vocal about UA just trying to milk this. But maybe they're not. Maybe they are. Then they released the Showtime. Free for you to use. Just check out the Spark thing, get on a newsletter. It was like getting you signed up or something. You know, it's a bait thing. Bait you. You know, their master. betas, and get you in there. And the Showtime's a great amp. And then they came out with Paradise Guitar Studio, which is the Showtime, the Enigmatic, the Dream, the Ruby, the Woodrow, and the Line, all the classic amps. And of course, they've got the delays, the compressors, they've got all these things, and they put some of them in there, and it sounds fantastic and it's amazing. And a lot of hate came under my video. Oh, now they're trying to milk this, first they made us buy the individual amps and the pedals, and now they're doing this same whole rehashing bullshit again. Okay, here's what I think about this. First of all, they gave major discounts to people who already bought the individual plugins, as they should have, right? It wasn't very transparent. When you went to the website and you put it in your cart and your stuff was registered already, you saw the discount. But it wasn't like, oh, by the way, if you already bought this, there's a big discount. No. Also, I don't understand why anyone bitches about it, because just do the subscription. I know people hate subscriptions. I don't understand why, because usually you get a shit ton more. You get updates, upgrades. And if the subscription is $79 a year, there's absolutely no brainer. I have subscriptions of video software for, I think, $600 or $700 a year. And when I think about how much I spend usually a year with that company, we're talking way past $1,000 or maybe even $2,000, because I bought many, many plugins from them. Now I've got a subscription, which is expensive, but I get a lot more. I get everything that comes out, and I get it for less than I usually would have spent. But you do you, okay? When it comes to subscription, that's your thing. But why aren't the big, heavy amps in there? Where's the Enigmatic and where's the Knuckles? I have a couple of theories about that. I think what they're doing is Paradise Guitar Studio is a testing ground. It is, well, they wanted us to do it all in one as a modeler, floor modeler, to compete with Fractal, Quad Cortex, Neural, and Line 6. But are we ready? No, I don't think we're ready yet. So let's see how they react when we give them an all-in-one kind of a thing. Okay, let's see what comes back in terms of user feedback when it comes to the user interface. Because maybe they want to implement that user interface into the floor modeler. Maybe they're using that product to do market research on you. Would that be such a bad thing? Well, not if the final product is kick-ass. Too many companies are working in a bubble. They're working in a bubble where they think this is what the market needs, and then they come out and find out, we were too late, it's too expensive, nobody needs these stupid features, and this is way too convoluted. They're not in touch with their user base. Now, by collecting, well, a bit at your expense, information about how you like the presets, what presets do you do? Is there some kind of preset sharing going on? How many emails are they getting about, why didn't you put in the Galaxy? We need the Galaxy. We need the RE201. Where is the 1176? Why do we only have I think it has that. Again, you bringing in this is what I would have wanted, and if it had that, then I'm buying it. It is probably very good market research to find out how much to shove in a big floor modeler. And with UA, the target audience always has been the people that want classic sounds. Also, the guy who did all the presets and is responsible for that side of UA, the classic guitar sounds, that Mr. Santiago, he knows the shit. The presets and the sounds in there are as good as it gets when it comes to classic sounds. Is he the guy who should have been responsible for the heavy stuff? No, because that's not his thing. The anti and the knuckles, the heavy modern sounds, wouldn't have been his cup of tea. Therefore, it wouldn't have been good. And then you could have had someone else, but then you have maybe too many cooks and stuff like this. Also, maybe it makes sense to have a whole separate product. Also, at the moment, they don't have enough heavy shit to really count inside a plugin like this. They're missing an 800. They're missing a JCM 800. They're missing something like a Soldano, even though the rectifier is similar. I'm going to say they need an orange rectifier. No, orange rectifier 5101, which they have. A Soldano. They'll need something Revish, maybe, but that might be too modern, not classic enough for them. Maybe something like a Diesel or Rev. So 5 amps in the modern high gain territory. And then equip that plugin with more digital delays, a whammy, pitch stuff, modern compressors like a distressor, stuff like this. So they would have a whole plugin on the modern side and test that out and see what you think of it. I have a hunch that that's coming. Did anyone at UA tell me that? Absolutely not. But it doesn't take a brain surgery man to know that that has to come. However, they don't have the orange, the JCM 800, the Diesel, the Engel. Engel would be a good idea. They don't have those. Now, maybe they do the same thing that they did with the Showtime, they develop it in software and not release pedals anymore. If they release them all as pedals, then as individual plugins, and then put them all together, would you bitch about it again? But I mean, then you have the choice to buy whatever you want to buy. Buy the single one, buy the software, or sit and wait in the hopes that they make an all-in-one modeler. I'm talking about the all-in-one modeler. We know that they have to be working on that. It would be insane not to work on that. On the other hand, I'm looking at my aux. Where's aux Mark II? With a better load box attenuator, with MIDI, with XLR, rack mountability, Bluetooth instead of Wi-Fi, blah, 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 a million things. IR loading. Where's aux Mark II? I don't think that's in the books. I don't think that's in the... It's like they have one of the most successful boxes on the market when it comes to cab simulation, and that's it. So we don't know if UA is doing what makes sense. aux Mark II would make a lot of sense, but we don't know if that's what they're doing. If that's what they're doing. So, the big modeler. If it sounded like Paradise Guitar Studio, I think it would be the best product on the market. If it added the heavy side of amps, like I described, killer. Now, please comment below. Does that need IR loading? I personally do not think so. They've never done it. I think their cabs sound fantastic. It's a different thing to do. It's speaker modeling. It's not IRs. Is it something else? I don't know. But I know that I love their cabs. Does it need IR loading? Well, maybe that's not their thing. But if you're not going to buy it, if it doesn't have it, please comment below. Does it need everything and the kitchen sink? I don't think so. I love how streamlined and reduced Paradise Guitar Studio is. It has 6 drives. It has a very minimal set of tools and delays and effects because they sound fantastic. It has 6 amps, and those 6 amps have written rock and roll history. So why would you need more than that? I don't think you would. So I like the Fender Tone Master approach, which is also reduced, not the Line 6 approach where everything's in there and then some. And, you know, that amp, which really is an AC30, but it's got that name on it. And that amp, which is, again, just an AC30, but it's got a different name on it. And, you know, if you have an AC30 and it's a good one, why do you need 5 boutique copies of it? So the Tone Master Pro reduces itself. I think that's exactly what they should do, what they probably will do if they released an all-in-one floor modeler or rack modeler. They should go simple. They should go reduced, which I think they will. Will they combine modern high gain and classic stuff? I think in a hardware version, Yes. Now, is it so bad that they first did pedals that had one or two problems, then did software version of those pedals, then did a combined software version of the classic pedals, probably to test the waters? This has been going on for years. So is this using the community as guinea pigs? Or is it giving the community great products that gives them a lot of feedback about what they need and want to then put in a product, which hopefully is exactly what we need and want? I mean, honestly, it needs 2 sets of XLR outs. It needs the ability to turn the cab off on one of the sets and maybe put IRs on the other one. It needs an additional 3rd set of 1/4-inch outs. I mean, look at the Fractal FM9. That's a professional product. It obviously needs a big ass touchscreen. It needs to be super simple, not rely on app control. Having app control, nice. Being able to use an iPad to edit the whole thing, nice. But it needs on the actual thing an easy user interface like Paradise Guitar Studio. If they just took Paradise Guitar Studio and made that available on a modeler, big ass screen, make it a tough one so people don't bitch about scratching and stepping on it, give me good foot switch control, maybe MIDI, Bluetooth MIDI, blah, 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 all these things. Do I need an expression pedal? I don't think so, but give me enough expression input so I can put one on there if I want to. If they do the hardware right, which technically they can do, because they've been doing hardware for a long ass time. All my audio interfaces are Universal Audio. I trust them. If they do the hardware right, and they have the quality of Paradise Guitar Studio plus the high gain stuff, how much would you be willing to spend on that? I'm saying it can easily be above some of the competition. Or around. I mean, if we're looking at 2,500, we're above the Helix Stadium, yes, which also has a lot more features. I get it. Great features. It's a good piece of hardware. We're roughly a bit above where the FM9 is and so on. But you would have access to all the history, knowledge, and programming power of Universal Audio in one unit. Would that be too much for you? Let me know. Let them know maybe in the comments, hoping they're watching this video and then maybe never call me again. They must be working on this. My hunch is that Paradise Guitar Studio and the software releases are a test of the community because, well, they don't come to guitar shows and actually talk to us, so they have to do it that way. Show up, UA. They have to be doing this. And they would be ridiculously dumbasserish if they weren't working on an 800 and an angle and a couple of high gain things to then combine with the other stuff. Honestly, if it's 10 amps, it's enough. It really is. Paradise Guitar Studio shows you what's possible with a very minimal set of equipment done right, because James Santiago knows his freaking shit when it comes to sounds and how to program them. Now, James, we've talked on Facebook a bit. If you want to do a rant with me on a Sunday and we'll discuss things and you just look at me saying, can't talk about it, and then I ask more questions and then you say, can't talk about it, that would be good. I would very much enjoy that. Because of course you can't talk about it, but I'd love to get you as Glenn says, on the show. I don't know why. Is this a show? I don't know. Sure, it is. James, you're more than invited. Let's do an interview and you tell me that you can't talk about it. Which of course you can. I can't wait for that big modeler to come out. But I don't know if one's coming out. But everything they're doing is hinting at it. The only thing that's missing is where are those high gain amps? Are they holding them back? Are they releasing pedals? Are they releasing software? Or are they holding them back and then the big modeler comes out and they're saying, well, let's not tax the market too much by throwing out these high gain pedals as well. I have no idea. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's just me guessing shit. But I was a bit amazed about the negativity on my Paradise Guitar Studio video because I absolutely think it is massively phenomenal in sounds. I don't think anyone can rival it at the moment. So, if they did one of those modelers, many of you would find fault at it, and it doesn't have this, and where's this, and where's that amp, and where's that amp. When it comes to sounds, I'm pretty sure it would have everything you need. When it comes to names, it probably doesn't. And to some people, that counts more than anything. What do I know? I know that I'll put the link below to their website. Buy the Spark subscription. I get a cut from that. Thank you very much. It's all you need when it comes to mixing plugins, and especially, I mean, it's got Paradise Guitar Studio in it for half the price of the actual. You know, it's a steal. Do it. Animals at the end.